Great. Let's start with the first concept from your textbook. Main heading: Human Resource Planning as a Source of Information. What does this heading mean? This means HRP is not just about hiring people. It also gives important information to the management about how many employees are needed, what type of employees are needed, and where they are needed. It's like a Google map for HR decisions, helping HR managers plan the workforce properly to avoid problems in the future. 2.1 Type 1, Meaning and Definition of Human Resource Planning, HRP. Let's break it down in a simple way for you as a future HR officer in a bank. 1. Simple meaning of HRP. Human resource planning means planning in advance about how many people are needed, what kind of skills they must have, when and where they will be required in the company or bank. It's like preparing your team before a cricket match. You must know how many bowlers, batsmen, and fielders you need. Similarly, in a bank, you must know how many tellers, clerks, IT staff, and officers are needed.
2.
Easy definition with emojis. Human resource planning is the process of making sure that the organization will have the right number of the right kind of people at the right time and right place to meet its goals and also keep employees happy. Also called manpower planning, personnel planning, workforce planning. Future-oriented activity. It is about preparing for the future of the organization. 3. Why is HRP important? If we don't plan properly, these problems can happen. Too many employees, wastage of money on salaries, training, facilities. Too few employees. Work suffers, production falls, customer service drops. Wrong recruitment, low employee confidence, poor performance, low team spirit. Example, bank HR officer role. If you hire 20 clerks when you actually need only 10, the bank pays more salaries unnecessarily. Or if you delay recruitment, customers might wait longer. This spoils the bank's image. That's why HRP is a very serious and essential task for an HR officer like you. 4. Famous author's definition. Dale S. Beach said, "Human resource planning is the process of deciding and making sure that enough skilled people will be available at the right time, doing jobs that help the company, and also give satisfaction to employees." This means HRP focuses both on company needs and employee happiness.
5.
Key points to remember. HRP equals future planning for workforce. Ensures right people, right skills, right time, right place, prevents wastage of money and time, makes employees efficient and satisfied. Very crucial for bank HR officers and managers. Short example, easy to remember. Imagine you are the HR officer of SBI Bank. You know that in the next 6 months, 5 officers will retire, and 2 new branches will open. You use HRP to plan recruitment today so you won't face a shortage of staff later. How this helps you in real life, interviews, banking career. In interviews, you can say, "I understand HRP helps me ensure smooth staffing in the bank, which saves cost and improves service." This shows clarity. In internships, you'll be able to suggest manpower forecasting methods. As an HR officer, you'll avoid overstaffing, understaffing. It will make you a cost-saving and people-smart HR. Quick summary. HRP means planning the future workforce needs. It ensures that the right people are in the right place at the right time. Without HRP, companies can face staff shortage or excess, higher costs, and low performance. It's a must-know skill for any HR manager, especially in banks and big organizations. Banking fact of the day. SBI, State Bank of India, founded 1st July 1955, total branches as of 2024, over 22,000 across India, employees around 2.5 lakh, 250,000 plus staff members. Imagine managing such a large workforce. HRP becomes the backbone of SBI's HR system. I'm ready for your next concept from Chapter 2. Absolutely. Let's now understand the concept 2.12, Nature of Human Resource Planning, from your textbook. What does nature mean in this context? In HRM, nature means the basic qualities or features of something. So here we are learning what kind of activity HRP is, how it works, and what it involves. Just like nature of a person tells us how they behave, nature of HRP tells us how it functions inside an organization or a bank. 2.12 Nature of Human Resource Planning. Let's understand each point in simple words, with emojis, examples, and short lines so you can remember easily for exams and apply it in your future HR career. 1. Continuous activity. HRP is not a one-time job. It goes on forever. Companies and banks always need to check how many employees are needed. Do we have the right people? Are there any upcoming retirements or resignations? Example: as an HR officer in a bank like SBI, you'll keep checking every month if you need to hire more tellers or officers, or if someone is leaving or retiring soon. 2. Clearly specified objectives. HRP follows the goals of the company or bank. It plans staff according to company's mission and goals, employee development needs, career planning, retention plans. Example: if the bank is planning to expand in rural areas, HRP will aim to hire more people from those areas who understand the local language and culture. 3. Assessing the staff requirements. HRP estimates how many people will be needed in future. It helps plan how many staff to recruit, when to recruit, what type of training to provide. Example: if the IT system is upgrading in your bank, HRP will ensure training for existing employees and may hire 2 to 3 IT experts. 4. Maintaining inventory of existing HR. HRP keeps a record of the current workforce. This includes who is skilled in what, who is ready for promotion, who can handle higher responsibilities. Example: as an HR officer, you know Mr. Ravi has 10 years of experience and leadership skills. You keep him in mind for the next branch manager opening. 5. Balancing supply and demand equation. HRP ensures we have enough employees, not too few or too many. It plans for sudden vacancies, unexpected resignations, future retirements. Example: if 3 employees resign suddenly from your SBI branch, you'll already have backup candidates or a transfer plan ready. That's because HRP helps prepare in advance. 6. Developing positive work environment. HRP doesn't just focus on hiring, it also works to keep employees happy. It creates healthy working conditions, motivating atmosphere, space for growth and learning. Example: as HR officer, you may suggest flexible work timings or wellness activities to reduce stress and improve teamwork. Formulation of policies. HRP helps in making policies and procedures for HR tasks. These policies help in recruitment, promotions, training, employee benefits. Example: you prepare a promotion policy for SBI officers that includes minimum years of experience, performance ratings, and interview process. This ensures fairness and transparency. Key points to remember.
HRP is continuous,
not one time. It follows company goals. It helps plan future manpower needs. Keeps current employee record. Balances demand and supply of staff. Builds positive work culture. Helps create HR policies. Imagine you're the HR officer of HDFC Bank. Your job is to keep checking how many employees are needed, how many are already there, and what new roles are coming up. You're like a team captain, always ready with a plan. How this helps you in real life, interviews, banking career. In interviews, you can say, I understand HRP is a continuous process that helps ensure staff availability, creates a positive culture, and supports future planning. In internships, you'll know how to check current HR inventory and suggest improvement areas. As a future HR manager in SBI, you'll use HRP daily for hiring, transfers, promotions, and staff planning. It'll make your bank efficient and people-focused. Summary. HRP is a never-ending process that plans, prepares, and protects the workforce of a company. It helps banks and companies stay ready for future, retain talent, and keep operations smooth. It includes planning staff needs, keeping current employee records, making policies, and maintaining a good work environment. It's a powerful tool for HR officers to manage people and plan for success. Banking fact of the day. HDFC Bank, founded 1994. Total branches, as of 2024, over 7,900 plus branches. Employees, approx 1.7 lakh, 170 plus people. Just imagine the importance of HR planning in such a large organization. It's your chance to be the brain behind the bank. Chapter 2, Human Resource Planning. Topic 2.1.3, Purposes of Human Resource Planning. Purposes means why we do human resource planning. What is the use of doing it? What is human resource planning, HRP? Simple meaning. HRP means planning in advance how many employees are needed, what kind of skills they must have, and how to manage them well in the future. Purposes of human resource planning, explained with emojis, easy examples, and HR officer mindset. 1. Assessing manpower requirements. Simple meaning. HRP helps in knowing how many employees will be needed in the future and of what type, like skilled, unskilled, manager, officer, etc. Without HRP, you may not find the right person at the right time. Example. Suppose you are an HR officer in SBI and a new branch is opening in Lucknow. HRP will help you plan how many clerks, managers, and security staff are needed there. 2. Evaluation of current workforce. Simple meaning. It checks the present employees, who is doing great, who needs training, who may retire soon. Example. You check a list of 10 and find 3 are very slow in handling customers. So you plan a training session for them. Efficient change management. Simple meaning the outside world keeps changing. New technology, new government rules, new customer needs. HRP helps you manage these changes smoothly. Example, suppose the bank shifts to digital banking more. As HR officer, you use HRP training for all staff on mobile banking apps. Achieving organizational objectives. HRP supports the goals of the company, like expanding to new cities or launching new services. Example, if SBI plans to expand in 5 more cities this year, HRP will help decide how many staff to hire and train to achieve that growth goal. 5. Furnishing accurate details. Simple meaning, HRP gives clear data about extra or underused employees. This helps in decisions like promotions, transfers, training, etc. You find 2 employees doing no work in one branch, but another branch is overworked. You can transfer those idle employees there. 6. Optimum utilization of human resources. Simple meaning, HRP makes sure no employee is overworked or underworked. Every staff is used properly. Example, if one officer handles 100 tasks daily and another only 30, HRP helps balance the workload. Manpower gap. Simple meaning, HRP identifies the gap between what employees are available and what is actually needed in future. Then it plans training, hiring, or promotion. Example, you notice SBI needs more loan officers next year. HRP suggests training current staff or hiring fresh MBA graduates. Summary for quick revision. HRP helps in knowing how many people are needed in future. It checks who is currently working well and who needs help. It supports the organization to grow, expand, and manage changes smoothly. HRP ensures correct use of manpower and plans for future needs by reducing gaps in skills and numbers. Real-life use for HR officer like you. As an HR officer in a bank, your duty will be to plan staff for new branches, handle transfers and promotions properly, manage workload equally, arrange training when rules or technology changes, make sure the bank never faces staff shortage or overload. This topic helps you think like a future HR manager, taking decisions that keep the bank running smooth and strong. Banking fact to remember today. ICICI Bank, private sector, founded 1994, headquarters Mumbai, over 500 plus? More than 1 lakh plus, known for digital banking and innovation in India. Next topic, just send the next. Chapter 2, Introduction to Human Resource Planning, HR. Topic 2.1.4, Sources of HRP. Meaning of heading. Sources of HR means from where we collect data or information that is useful for planning the human resources, employees, in any company or organization like banks, IT firms, factories, etc. Haksh lets understand the sources of HRP in easy way with emojis, short examples, and real HR officer thinking. 1. Job analysis. Easy meaning, it means studying each job carefully to know what are the duties, job description, what skills or qualifications are needed, job specification. Example, imagine you're an HR officer in SBI and you're hiring a loan officer. You will study what the loan officer will do daily. What skills are needed, e.g., MBA, good with numbers, polite communication. This helps HR plan the right people for the right job. 2. Labor force sample survey. Easy meaning. This survey gives info about how many people are employed or unemployed in the country or region. Example, suppose RBI gives data that unemployment in youth is rising. You, as an HR officer, may decide to hire more freshers and give them training in your bank branch. It helps in planning hiring based on national employment trends. Half 3, household survey. Easy meaning. This survey collects info from families' households to know about family members' jobs, education, their lifestyle, or spending pattern. As an HR manager in HDFC Bank, you may study household data to understand how many women in a locality are educated but unemployed. Then, you can create recruitment drives for women. Helps to know untapped talent in the population. 4. Establishment survey. Easy meaning. This survey is done in companies or workplaces called establishments. It checks how many jobs are available, what kind of work people do. It doesn't count self-employed workers. Example, if you are in Axis Bank HR department and the establishment survey shows many vacancies in the call center team, you plan to recruit and train more people for that job. Useful to know how work is distributed in offices' factories. Hanafcharge. 5. Labor market survey. Easy meaning. This survey tells us about which jobs are in demand, which skills are short in supply, what salaries are being offered. Example, as a bank HR, if the survey says data analysis skill is in high demand, you might arrange a workshop for your employees to learn it. Helps in upskilling and reskilling staff. 6. Labor force survey. Easy meaning, it gives a clear picture of what people are doing, employed, unemployed, student, retired, etc., their working hours, type of job, etc. Example, if you're working in Canara Bank as an HR officer and this survey shows many part-time workers are available, you might hire them as temporary staff in festive season. Useful to know availability and flexibility of workers. Tatter summary for quick revision. Job analysis info about each job's duties and skills. Labor force sample survey, national level data, employment, unemployment. Household survey, info about working members and their life in households. Establishment survey, job data from companies or offices. Labor market survey, info about demand, supply of jobs. Labor force survey, general info about what people are doing for a living. How this helps you as future HR officer, manager in a bank. As an HR officer in a bank like SBI, these sources help you to decide how many people to hire, identify right talent from market, create training programs, support diversity in hiring, understand regional employment trends. These sources are like your Google for HR planning. They guide your decisions for smooth and smart hiring, training, and promotion. Banking industry fact of the day. SBI, State Bank of India. Founded 1st July 1955, ATM network, over 65,000 ATMs across India. Significance. SBI has one of the largest ATM networks in Asia. This shows how huge SBI is and how much HR planning is needed to manage staff behind these ATM operations too. Chapter 2, Introduction to Human Resource Planning. Topic 2.1.5, Manpower Requirement Process, HRP process. Let's break it down step by step in a fun, simple, and complete way with full emojis. What does manpower requirement process mean? It means how a company or bank like SBI plans for how many employees it will need in the future, what kind of people it needs, and how to fill those positions. Like how many clerks, officers, HR managers will need next year in 50 new branches of SBI. Now let's dive into the 8-step HRP process. 1. Environmental scanning. This step is about studying what's happening inside and outside the organization, company or bank. Internal factors, tech, company culture, HR policies. External factors, competitors, gov rules, job market. Example, if you're an HR officer at HDFC Bank and a new rule comes in that all branches must go digital, you will need more IT-skilled staff. So you plan for it. 2. Organizational objectives and policies. After scanning the environment, the HR team must look at company plans, like expansion, launching new services, automation, etc. Example, SBI plans to open 100 new rural branches. So as HR manager, you'll plan how many new employees are needed there, maybe 200 new staff. 3. Demand forecasting. This means estimating how many people the company will need in the future and for which positions. Example, if Bank of Baroda is starting a mobile banking team, you'll forecast the demand for app developers, trainers, and customer support officers. #4 Supply forecasting. This step is about finding out how many suitable employees you already have, both inside internal and outside external, the company. Example, as HR officer in ICICI Bank, you check who is ready for promotion, who is retiring soon, or who is on leave to understand staff availability. 5. Estimating manpower gaps. This is where you compare the demand, step 3, and supply, step 4. If demand supply equals shortage, if supply demand equals surplus. Example, if you need 100 loan officers but you have only 70, you have a gap of 30 staff. You'll need to recruit or train 30 more. 6. Action planning. Now the company must take action to fix the gaps. For shortage, do hiring, train existing staff, give promotions. For surplus, do retrenchment, right-sizing, transfers, or outsourcing. Example, as HR officer in Axis Bank, if you find extra staff in the HR depth, but a shortage in customer care, you may transfer some staff or stop new hiring. Outcome. This is the result of your planning. If you planned well, you will have just the right number of people in the right jobs. If not, then inefficiency or cost problems may happen. Example, if your recruitment helped open 10 new SBI branches smoothly, then your HRP was successful. Evaluation and control. After implementing everything, the HR team must monitor the success of their plan and make changes if needed. Why it's important: to fix mistakes, to improve future planning, to see if goals were achieved, to handle staff complaints. Example, as an HR officer in Union Bank, you track how many of the new hires stayed after 6 months. If 50% left, your evaluation will find out why, maybe low training or salary. Summary. Easy to remember for exam. HRP equals planning for people. 8 steps. Scan, set goals, forecast need and supply, check gaps, take action, monitor results, helps reduce cost, avoid shortages, and improve efficiency. HRP must skill for an HR manager in banks like SBI, HDFC, etc. How this helps you as a future HR officer in a bank. You will know how many employees are needed in which branch or department. You can avoid overstaffing or understaffing in your HR decisions. In interviews, you can confidently explain manpower planning with real-life bank examples. In internships, you can help in surveys, forecasting, and recruitment. In group discussions, you can give smart ideas on workforce planning. Banking industry bonus fact of the day. Did you know Bank of Baroda is the second largest public sector bank in India after SBI, headquartered in Vadodara, Gujarat, total branches over 8,200, founded in 1908. Nickname India's International Bank because it has branches in 20+ countries. Chapter 2, Introduction to Human Resource Planning, HRP. Topic 2.1.6, Factors Affecting Human Resource Planning, HRP. Meaning of heading. Factors affecting HRP means all those things, internal or external, that affect how a company plans for its human resources, staffing needs. These can be laws, economy, technology, or even the company's own strategies. Let's start understanding in a simple and easy way with emojis. 1. What are factors affecting HRP? These are things that influence how an organization plans to hire, train, and retain employees. These factors are of two types: external factors, outside the company; internal factors, inside the company. External factors. Outside the organization. These are factors that the organization cannot control easily but must adjust to. 1. Legislative provisions. Labor laws, like working hours, safety, reservation policies, and government rules affect hiring plans. Example, as an HR officer in SBI Bank, if the government announces 10% job reservation for economically weaker sections, you must plan recruitment accordingly. 2. Level of economic development. The better the economy, the more skilled people are available, and better planning can happen. Example, in a fast-developing city like Bengaluru, you get skilled candidates easily. So as an HR manager, your planning is smoother there than in a backward area. 3. Business environment. If the market is growing or shrinking, production will change, and so will staffing needs. Example, if there's a sudden banking boom, you'll need more staff in customer service. If there's a crisis like a recession, HRP needs to reduce hiring. 4. Technological advancements. New technologies equals need for new skills. HRP must plan for hiring or training accordingly. Example, SBI adopts a new banking software. You need to hire tech-savvy staff or train current employees. 5. Global influences. Worldwide changes like migration trends, outsourcing, or pandemics affect the availability and need for HR. Example, during COVID-19, many banks moved to digital. HR had to plan for more IT support staff. B. Internal factors. Inside the organization. These are factors within the company that directly impact HR planning. 1. Firms' plans and guidelines. Companies' goals for growth, expansion, or change in products affects HR needs. Example, if SBI wants to open 100 new branches, you'll need to plan recruitment and training of staff. 2. Rules and regulations for HR. Every company has internal rules about salaries, required skills, etc. HRP must follow these rules. Example, your bank policy may need MBA graduates for HR officer roles. You must recruit accordingly. 3. Job analysis. Detailed study of jobs to find what skills, knowledge, and number of people are needed. Example, as an HR officer, you study that cashiers must have basic maths and communication skills. Helps you recruit right. 4. Perspective of time frame. Long-term or short-term planning depends on how stable the business environment is. Example, in a stable bank, you can plan staff for 5 years. In a startup bank, better to plan for 1 year, hence not 5. Reliability of information. HR decisions are based on accurate data like company structure, tech use, recruitment sources, etc. Example, if you wrongly estimate that 100 employees will retire this year, your planning will fail. 6. Policies on production and operations. If a company plans to produce more, it needs more employees. If it plans to buy from outside, fewer employees needed. Example, if SBI plans to outsource ATM services, HR needs to hire fewer technicians. 7. Trade unions. Unions protect employee interests and influence HR decisions like hiring method, working hours, etc. Example, if union says no contract staff, you must hire full-time employees only. 8. Phases of organization life cycle. Companies go through phases: growth, stable, decline. HRP changes in each phase. Example, in growth, hire more people. In decline, reduce workforce. As HR manager, you must manage both smartly. Quick summary to remember for exam. External factors come from outside and are less controllable. Laws, economy, tech, global trends. Internal factors come from inside and are based on companies' plans, policies, and structure. A smart HR officer must study both and plan HR accordingly. Imagine you are an HR officer in SBI Bank. As the HR officer, you will check upcoming laws from RBI or government. See how many new branches are opening. Match the skills needed with your recruitment plan. Train staff when new digital tools are introduced. Deal with unions peacefully and smartly. This mindset will help you grow from HR officer to HR manager like a pro. Banking industry insight of the day. ICICI Bank was the first Indian bank to launch internet banking in 1998. This was a big move that changed how customers access their accounts. No need to visit branches. Today, digital banking is a major area where HR officers must plan for training staff in cybersecurity, mobile apps, and online services. Main heading meaning methods of HR planning. When we say methods of HR planning, we mean the different ways or techniques used by an organization, like a bank or company, to figure out how many people it needs to hire or train in future, what kind of skills those people should have, when and where they will be needed in the organization. Now let's break down. 2.1.7.1 Demand forecasting methods. This means predicting how many employees the organization will need in future. Definition in simple words. HR demand forecasting means guessing in advance how many workers and what kind of skills the organization will need to reach its goals, like opening new branches, launching new services, or upgrading tech. Tie why it matters for you as a future HR officer in a bank. Imagine you're working in SBI as an HR officer. You're told, next year, 50 new rural branches are opening. You need to plan how many people to recruit, what roles to fill, cashiers, relationship managers, security, when to start hiring so staff is ready on day one. That's demand forecasting in action. Let's now go through each method with fun and easy examples. 1. Managerial judgment. Meaning, managers use their experience and insights to estimate how many staff will be needed. Bottom up, each department tells how many people they need. Top down, senior bosses decide first, then departments adjust. Example, you're an HR officer at HDFC Bank. The loan department manager says they'll need 10 more people next year due to rising home loan applications. That's bottom up. If top management tells the department to hire only 5 due to budget limits, that's top down. Key point, best results happen when both approaches are combined. There's 2, ratio analysis. Meaning, using past data to find a ratio between business activity and number of employees. Example, in a university, 20,000 students and 1,000 lecturers. Ratio is 20-1. If 500 more students are joining, need 25 more lecturers. 500 by 20. Bank example, if one branch manager handles 200 customers and 2,000 new customers are expected, you'll need 10 more branch managers. Note, this method ignores changes like automation or tech upgrades. 3. Trend analysis. Meaning, studying past trends to estimate future needs. Example, a factory hired 5 new workers each time it increased production by 1,000 units. Next year, they expect 3,000 extra units, so they may need 15 new workers, bank example. If SBI noticed every Diwali season they needed 20 extra clerks due to festival loans, they'll plan similar hiring this year. Hack 4. Scatter plot graph. Meaning, using graphs to find a pattern between 2 things, like sales versus number of employees. Example, more ATMs installed, more technicians required. Draw a graph. 10 ATMs is 1 technician, 20 ATMs equal 2 technicians. So if you plan 50 ATMs, you may need 5 technicians. 5. Computerized forecast. Meaning, using software tools and past data to calculate HR needs. Example, as an HR officer at ICICI Bank, you input data like projected sales, branch expansion, and staff retirement. The system suggests you'll need 75 new hires. Benefit fast, detailed, and based on large data sets. R6. Work-study techniques. Meaning, measuring how much work is done in how much time to plan manpower. Example, in a bank's check processing unit, 1 clerk processes 100 checks hour. If 10,000 checks expected day, need 10 clerks. Tip, efficiency improves over time due to learning, called learning curve. Delphi technique, meaning, taking expert opinions through email online without face-to-face meetings to avoid bias. Example, you're HR officer at a private bank and want to plan HR for future digital banking expansion. You consult 10 digital banking experts via email and summarize their responses. This avoids loud people dominating the meeting and saves travel cost. Best for uncertain, changing environments like new tech areas. 8. Econometric models. Meaning, using math and stats to create formulas that link things like sales, profit, product complexity to manpower needs. Example, if profit increases by 10% and past data says a 10% profit rise needed 5 more salespeople, model calculates future HR needs automatically. Tip, this method is complex but very accurate if data is clean. Summary, key points to remember. Demand forecasting means predicting future manpower needs. It helps avoid overstaffing, waste of money, and understaffing, poor service. Many methods are available: judgment, ratio, trends, graphs, software, studies, expert opinions, and math models. Choose the method based on your company's size, industry, and data available. As a future HR manager in a bank, you will use judgment, ratios, and software often to plan branch staffing, recruitment, and employee training. Unique Banking Insight, week of May 2025. Insight: Axis Bank has recently expanded its Bharat Banking initiative, targeting deeper rural financial inclusion. It launched more than 500 micro branches and tied up with fintech startups to offer biometric-based banking for remote areas. This strategy aims to reduce the gap between urban and rural banking access and create rural employment, which means higher demand for local HR planning and recruitment. Chapter 2, Introduction to Human Resource Planning, HRP. Main heading, 2.1.7.2. Supply Forecasting Methods. Subject: Managing Human Resources, MHR. MBA second semester, HR Officer View, Bank Corporate Ready. What does supply forecasting methods mean? Before we start the points, let's understand the heading. Supply forecasting means predicting how many employees will be available in future, and from where, inside the company, we can get them. This is super important because once we know how many people we need demand forecasting, we must also know how many people we have or can get supply forecasting. This helps you as a future HR officer in a bank like SBI or ICICI to be prepared for retirements, transfers, promotions, new branches, or even resignations. Let's now dive into the 5 major methods to forecast HR supply, in simple words with fun examples. 1. Staffing tables, manning charts. Definition. It's a visual chart that shows how many employees are working now, how many more are needed in future, and details like age, gender, skills, job roles, etc. Simple example. You are an HR officer at SBI, and you prepare a table. 5 tellers in one branch. 2 are retiring next year. 3 new ones are needed. The staffing table shows this clearly, so you can start recruiting or training on time. Why it's useful. You get a clear picture of workforce now and future. Helps you see if existing employees are being used properly. 2. Markov analysis. Definition. This uses historical data from previous years to show how many employees stayed in the same job, how many got promoted, how many left or got transferred. It helps predict future employee movement inside the organization. Simple example. As an HR in ICICI Bank, you see that every year 20% of clerks get promoted to officer, 5% leave the job. So next year, if you have 100 clerks, you can expect 20 promotions, 5 exits. This helps in planning promotions and hiring early. Skill inventories. Definition: a database of all employees' skills, knowledge, qualifications, experience, etc. It's a simple, non-technical method, but very helpful. Simple example. You are the HR officer at Bank of Baroda. You suddenly need someone who knows Python and Excel for a data-based role. You check your skill inventory and find that Mr. Rajiv, currently in customer service, has both skills. Now, you can shift him internally instead of hiring a new person. Why it's good. Saves time, saves cost, promotes existing staff, which boosts morale. 4. Replacement and succession planning. Definition: replacement planning for short term, who will fill in if someone leaves tomorrow? Succession planning for long term, who will become the future leader or manager? Simple example. In Axis Bank, the branch manager is retiring next year. In replacement planning, you already know Mr. Ashish, assistant manager, will take over. In succession planning, you identify 3 junior officers and start training them to be future branch heads. Why it's important. Avoids panic hiring. Keeps leadership pipeline ready. Used heavily by companies like Tata, Infosys, Deloitte, 5 cohort analysis. Definition: a cohort is a group of employees hired at the same time. This method checks how many stayed, how many left, and how long they usually stay, called survival curve. Simple example: you are HR in HDFC Bank. You hired 50 tellers in 2020. In 2023, only 30 are still working. This tells you average stay is 3 years, so you should plan replacement hiring before they leave. Why to use? Helps in planning ahead. Good for banks where batch hiring is common. Can switch to external market if internal supply is low or expensive. Summary: what you must remember. Supply forecasting equals estimating how many employees will be available, internally or externally. It works after demand forecasting. 5 main methods. 1. Staffing tables show current and future employee count. 2. Markov analysis track movement inside jobs. 3. Skill inventory know what your employees can do. 4. Replacement succession planning prepare for exits, promotions. 5. Cohort analysis study hiring batch, stay time, and turnover. All methods help you as a future HR officer's manager to plan staffing smartly, reduce last-minute panic, and improve employee retention. Real HR officer view in banking. As an HR officer in SBI or any major bank, you must be aware of who is retiring, who is promotable, who has special skills, and when to recruit externally if internal supply is low. Using these methods makes your job easier, faster, and smarter, and helps keep the bank fully staffed with the right people at the right time. Banking industry insight of the day. Did you know? HDFC Bank was the first in India to use AI-based workforce planning tools to track employee performance, predict resignations, and plan internal promotions. This futuristic HR approach helped reduce attrition and improved employee satisfaction, something you, as a future HR manager, should definitely aim for. Ready for